Bengals at Dolphins, and this is my interesting segment called Who the Hell is going to Start for the Dolphins at running back this week? It was at the start of the year rather interesting who in the world was going to start, mainly because no one had Ryan Fitzpatrick in the most rushing yards on the team, and it turned out to be Myles Gaskins, and there was no game for a while. Then Myles Gaskins got hurt. Matt Breida went down with an injury. DeAndre Washington couldn't play yet, and it suddenly became a very interesting game of who the hell is going to play for the running back for the Miami Dolphins this week. And I put my money on Patrick Laird, but unfortunately it turned out to be an undrafted free agent out of Washington from the practice squad called Salvon Ahmed. Since then, Jordan Howard was the other option, by the way. Unfortunately, Jordan Howard is now gone from the team, and it was Salvon Ahmed for a long time. Last week, it was also an interesting choice because no Salvon Ahmed and no Myles Gaskins, so Matt Breida, DeAndre Washington actually got the start, and it's just none of them were very productive on the ground. I think 2 of the 3 fumbled. So it's rather interesting. I think Matt Breida is not a great primary back, but is a nice mix-in. I think he's a nice weapon to have. Unfortunately for the Dolphins, here's what we're looking at this week for them. No Matt Breida, he's out with an injury. DeAndre Washington is also out for the game, and Salvon Ahmed is also out. So that leaves 2 running backs on the roster because Jordan Howard has gone to the Philly practice squad. Goodbye, Jordan Howard. But it's an interesting choice because if Myles Gaskins isn't healthy enough to play, they have one other running back on the entire roster, and that's Patrick Laird. Now, I feel like Myles Gaskins will be healthy enough to play, and if he does, I bet Patrick Laird gets a couple snaps. Myles Gaskins gets the primary amount of snaps, mainly because he is a pretty good running back. And here's the interesting thing about this Miami team. They don't have a great big back. Now, Jordan Howard was their big back, and while Salvon Ahmed is also a rather large man, they don't have one right now. Patrick Laird's more of a scat back, and the other guys, DeAndre Washington, Matt Breida, Myles Gaskins, are all scat backs as well. They don't really have a big back other than Salvon Ahmed, which is why I think Salvon Ahmed got the start over players like Patrick Laird, and so I'm interested to see how that works. Also coming in this week, too, is questionable. I feel like he'll be back unless they want to keep him for one more game, considering they have to play the Raiders next week, and that's a tougher game than the Bengals. The Bengals absolutely screwed themselves in a game that they really should have beat the Giants in. They had a chance to go down and get a field goal with about a minute left, and they were at midfield, and dang, Brandon Allen fumbled the ball away. So it's the Bengals for you. The fact is, the Miami defense is playing at a very high level right now. It's been a very, very good football team as of late. Brian Flores is having that team play extraordinarily well. Solomon Kinley should be back for this game, the offensive guard for the Dolphins. I'm interested to see how he comes in and helps this football team succeed. Preston Williams, also wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins, will be back this week. A very important addition for this Miami team that has really lacked offense since that Broncos game. So I think they get back on track here with Myles Gaskins having a big day. And I'm also interested to see, again, how they introduce Lynn Bowden Jr. and Malcolm Perry. You could see they were using Malcolm Perry lined up as a running back at one point. And it's really interesting to see how they're using them moving forward, Malcolm Perry and Lynn Bowden Jr. Also, I'm excited to see them get Devontae Parker involved, and finally Preston Williams is back. And I'm wondering if Antonio Callaway is going to become an important part of this offense or not, adding also into the fact Durham Smythe, Adam Shaheen, and Mike Gesicki are also very solid tight ends. So I think this offense is going to go off. The defense is also going to lock down Brandon Allen. So expect the Dolphins to cover this 10.5 point spread here.